Hey, everybody. Welcome to Sexy Nerd Science, Season 5, Episode 15. I'm Drew, as always, with my lovely, lovely co-hosts, Dale and Josh. Say hi, guys.
I was first. Did you hear that? I was first.
Dale and Josh, yeah. That's you guys are setting aside your differences. North and South Dakota are becoming one Dakota.
One Dakota.
I'm a Carolina. I'm more like a Carolina.
I just went from left to right on the screen this time.
Don't be a Carolina when you could be a Dakota.
Anyway, or Virginia.
No, no one cares about West Virginia.
No one cares about West Virginia, but it is two different things. We're very alienating to a specific state right now. And
all the people that we have that listen to us in West Virginia. I know there's more than just hillbillies in West Virginia. There's also coal miners.
All right. Well,
how many coal miners do you think are actually listening to what we're talking about?
Oh, I mean, none, because there's not any coal mining jobs in West Virginia anymore.
There's about to not be some jobs in another state. We'll talk about that later.
What?
Yeah, I'm adding something on the fly.
Ooh, fly ball.
So we're going to get in sexy news real quick here. So we talked about something, I don't know.
A couple weeks ago. It was about a month ago?
About a month ago, yeah. It was, I'd say. So we got news. Alex Trebek, the wonderful Jeopardy host, delivered some news to us. I think it was about 2 months ago at this point now. It seems like it was only a month because we've only had 3 recordings since then. But delivered us some news about him having stage 4 pancreatic cancer, right? And sounds like he's near remission at this point. I'm not sure, Dale, was this sent or was this put, I guess, how was this delivered to you and how credible is it?
This was delivered to me via the internet. This is posted on BuzzFeed.news.
You did like a press release for it, I thought.
Well,
I did. Talked to People Magazine.
People Magazine? Okay, yeah. I knew it was something like official. It wasn't BuzzFeed because, let's just face it, BuzzFeed's not the most official news source.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, something like this, though, is more to not be less trustworthy than something else. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean,
okay. So so this, like it says in the little thing we have,
Robert Mueller talked today too, but we're not talking about that.
No, we're not talking about that. Alex Trebek told People Magazine that he has responded well to the chemotherapy, and his doctors told him that he was in near remission. Tumors have been shrunk by more than 50%, according to the Mayo Clinic. Pancreatic cancer has a 5-year survival rate of 7%.
Yeah, I think that's pretty awesome. Cancer research is coming a long way, even in the last 5 years here. So it's awesome. I
mean, so at this point, just for people who don't understand, does that mean if he does become in remission, he still has only a 7% survival rate? Or
no, I think once he gets in remission, the tumor becomes benign. I'm not an expert in any way or a doctor or whatever, but I think the tumor becomes benign or it becomes not hazardous to grow anymore.
Yeah. Well, I just didn't know because they put the 7% chance of survival, and I thought that was the same. I didn't know if it was just a fact that about pancreatic cancer, and this has nothing to do with him being in remission, or if it was like, hey, he'll go into remission and it still has a 7% chance.
Yeah, it's the survival rate for pancreatic cancer.
Because I know we talked about the survival rate when last time we talked about it, so I just didn't know.
Yeah.
So good news there, just to start off a wonderful week here with us.
Wonderful week.
So they're going to start some really cool gameplay things here. So EA Play 2019 has their live stream schedule up. Dale, you want to go into that a little bit?
Yeah, so like any big company nowadays, they do a live stream event or like BlizzCon or something like that. This is EA's. They're calling EA Play 2019. And so on June 8th, they have a live stream schedule that you can see all the new stuff that's coming out from EA for the next year. Few things. This is actually everything on the schedule. It's actually a very small schedule. It's not as, I don't think it's as big as everybody else does.
It's definitely not. I mean,
yeah. So this is the schedule, what they're going to talk about. As far as what they're going to talk about within each one, obviously I don't know. But the first thing is the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order game. They're going to add Apex Legends Season 2, something with Battlefield 5, something EA Sports FIFA.
Let's just also point out that's a half-hour segment for each one of these so far is what it's looking like.
It's 15 minutes, half hour.
Well, half hour for Star Wars, half hour for Apex Legends,
I guess
half hour
so
for
there's
Battlefield.
a countdown. There's a 15-minute countdown.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. I think they're just going to be showing some live gameplay from these games. So.
Or I think with like Apex, they're talking about Season 2, so they're talking about like maybe the new skins or the new.
I was gonna say because like Madden, I could see having a new one coming out, FIFA, but like Battlefield 5, like that's out. I mean, The Sims 4 has been out forever, so
Battlefield 5 isn't out. I don't think
it's not.
No, they're currently on Battlefield 4, which is right here behind Dale.
I actually never looked that up.
Battlefield 4.
Okay, I didn't know I thought they were on Battlefield 5.
So they have Battlefield 4.
Battlefront 5 that's out.
There was a Battlefront 5 like a long.
Battlefield 5 is out.
What?
As of November 20th, 2018. Yep. So that's the newest. That's the game that's out right now.
Okay. That's what I thought, because it looks like all those games, with the exception of Star Wars, will be games that are already out, like released, but probably new updates coming to them. And then obviously this is going to be our first look at live play. Hopefully, please God, live play for Fallen Jedi, or not Fallen Jedi.
Yeah, so it's a little touch base there. You know, we like.
I'm really excited. Like, the only thing I care about Star Wars on that list, and maybe possibly The Sims, because that's what Brittany plays all the time.
Well, I mean, Sims 4 has been out for a while.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, they're probably just going to get an update.
Maybe they're just doing it to have some sort of streaming schedule. Did they say it's leading up to anything? Because a morning schedule seems kind of weird.
Not that I saw, but very well could be.
Yeah.
Well, it's also morning schedule in
California,
and it'll be like a midday schedule for us.
Yeah, so it's 10 a.m. So it's what, noon here?
Noon for me.
2 hours?
It's technically 4 hours. So 9 a.m. there, 12 a.m.
I know. So okay, whichever.
Yep.
So
11 for
11:15 for us.
Yep. Excited. I like EA.
EA's
minus microtransactions.
So yeah, I was gonna say EA's gotten a lot of flack for microtransactions. So I guarantee this is gonna have a touch on the fact that they can do XYZ without microtransactions and kind of probably hype up new games, especially Star Wars.
And I know, because they've taken flack for that, I know Star Wars Jedi, they've said no microtransactions, absolutely zero on that game. So I could see that as I think even Apex Legends doesn't have microtransactions and loot boxes and stuff, do they?
Well, they have loot boxes, but you can't pay for them.
Okay.
It's only
earned loot boxes.
It's only earned, which is,
that's what they want. That's.
And I don't have, so the thing I have I don't have any issues with paid items that don't affect the game. Cosmetic items is fine. Mm. If you want to pay to have that really sweet bronzer look on your Mercy or whatever for Overwatch, or you want your whatever to look whatever way, that's fine. Pay for it. They had tons of that stuff just through Xbox. You could customize your avatar. It's just cosmetic. You're paying for it. You're paying for the coding and everything. Not a big deal.
How much money did you spend on your Xbox 360 avatar?
At least $30 over the course of the 4 or 5 years I had it.
I got like the basic stuff and never went anything. I was like, I paid for this.
I paid for the green. The last one I paid for was the Green Ranger one, like
the helmet,
and the outfit.
Oh, yeah.
So I look like my character looks like the Green Ranger.
What game you guys talking about?
360.
Yep. What
game you guys talking about?
It's on Xbox 360. You can have your avatar for your Xbox gamer tag.
So it's not even a game. It's just the
It was like the Wii characters.
yeah, it's like a
The
me.
me.
But so
But
yeah,
better.
Don't
microtransactions.
correct me on something that's stupid.
That's your pop culture question.
Yep. Failure.
Just kidding. This is your pop culture question.
You ready for
Take
your
it
pop
away,
culture question, Dale?
Josh.
No, can I skip it? Can I pass?
No, you can't.
You can skip it for a fail.
There will be a shot for redemption, but you're not going to get that one right, I'm pretty sure. So Aladdin is part of our sexy news. Nice old Aladdin movie came out here, a remake of the original Aladdin movie. It's the live action version instead of the animated one.
Hey, Dan, who played the genie in this last movie?
That's not what the question is.
I just want to know if he knows.
The live action one that just came out?
Yes.
Will Smith.
Okay.
Okay,
Just
good.
so I know. I want to know if you knew.
That's actually technically a hint, because my question is going to be, of the 4 Aladdin movies produced by Disney.
Okay.
Oh, he's already gone. Which movies did Robin Williams not play the genie?
Out of the 4?
Out of the 4. And that's when I said 4, and you were like, what? And I was like, uh-oh.
So I remember the first one. And then I remember there was a second one with Jafar as the genie taking over. So I'm assuming he played at least minimum of 2, and this is the newest one. So he didn't play at least in 1. But the third one, I'm assuming is just another cartoon one. I thought there was 3.
There was another cartoon one.
But you're saying that he might not have played that third cartoon one based on what you guys are smiling.
I don't know. You
Yeah.
didn't tell me the answer.
I would say gut reaction is he played in all 3 of the cartoon versions and didn't play in the one.
So
But it seems like a loaded question. So then,
it is a loaded question. And it's,
so I would, I would say that's unfair then, because then I would guess 2 out of 2 or 2 out of 4.
so he did not play the genie in Return of Jafar, which was technically Aladdin 2. But there's a very big reason behind that. Robin Williams and Disney had a huge fight over using the genie's voice and likeness to sell merchandise. Robin Williams told Disney he would do the voice for the genie if they didn't sell merchandise. And Disney's like, forget you, we're totally going to sell merchandise. Robin Williams is like, fine, forget you guys. I don't want to voice the genie anymore. So he did not voice the genie for Aladdin 2, The Return of Jafar.
So
Are you looking it up right now?
I am looking it up now, yeah.
Damn it, your redemption question is going to be who did voice the genie?
Oh, I didn't look it up yet.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was looking it up. The voice actor's name, just tell me who, like another character that they might have played. Because that's the only way I know him. I don't know the guy's name. So what other voice actor do you think could have played the genie? And it also was the genie in the TV series as well. Because Robin Williams did not play the genie in the Aladdin TV series.
Really? I used to watch that every day.
Yeah.
You also probably watched another show every day, which was voiced by the same character.
No, he didn't.
Or what?
I know he didn't watch that other show
Oh, well then
that he was in.
What's the other show?
So the actor who voices Homer Simpson voiced the genie in The Return of Jafar and the animated.
Ooh, that's a big hint for me. I've been watching a lot of Simpsons lately.
Oh, if you know the actor or the voice actor
dang.
from The Simpsons, I don't know the answer.
Kyle's gonna kill me.
That Kyle loves The Simpsons.
No, I want to say it's like a short name, like it's like Mac or something.
It is. It's a short one.
Yeah.
It's oh man, it's a really short name. It's a short name that we should know.
Dang.
Close.
Dang is close.
Yeah, very close.
Dan.
Okay. His last name's not short. Like it's like 4 syllables.
Sound of a slinky going downstairs.
Oh my god, you got it right. Yeah.
No, I don't know. Tell me. Go ahead.
Dan Castellaneta.
God damn. Yeah. I just knew I've heard that name before because I watch a lot of YouTube videos with The Simpsons.
Yeah.
But I honestly think I would have got that right, but I would not have guessed it right.
I was really hoping that you had like the direct VHS copies of the 2 other Aladdin movies. So it was, by the way, for those of you guys listening, there was The Return of Jafar was number 2, and then Aladdin, the Prince of Thieves was the one where Aladdin finds his daddy.
Yep, I remember that one.
So those are the 3
Aladdin
animated movies. And so, by the way, Disney apologized to Robin Williams and said, hey, we're really sorry we violated your trust and what you originally thought you were going to do for the genie, but we'd really like to have you back for this 3rd movie. Would you please replace your role? And they totally did. They were like, he's like, yeah, I'll be in the 3rd movie. So he voiced the genie in 1, 3, and did not voice the genie in 2, and then this live action movie that came out. Obviously, because Will Smith did it.
I'm literally watching like a clip of it, and I would have never ever have caught. I mean, as an adult now, straight like, oh, that's not Robin Williams. I think I would have guessed it was the Homer Simpson voice if I was sat there listening to it. What?
Had you heard it?
Had I heard it? It sounds very similar to it.
That's what we should have done. Oh, we probably would have been hit with some sort of copyright.
No, because it's commentary, so we would have been fine.
I mean, if we played an actual clip for the audience to hear.
Yeah, you can. If you're commentating on it, it's fair use.
Yep.
That's why you can do video reviews and stuff.
That's true, I guess.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So that's what we had for that.
So I think I got that wrong, and the reason I say is because it seemed like it was a loaded question, and because it was a loaded question, that's why.
It was just one that I hope you knew about, Rob. Okay, fine. Here's another one.
No, I'm good with getting
sure.
it right. Yeah.
I'll say, what other Robin Williams movie was he working on when he was also doing the voice of the genie?
Oh, I know that one.
You do?
Yeah. Gulliver's Travel?
Nope.
Wait.
Disney movie.
Yeah. Fern Gully.
That's correct. It was Batty.
Yeah. I knew that one.
Is Betty.
I knew that one. No.
I recently watched a thing on Aladdin and like why Robin Williams and like Aladdin were like feuding basically.
Nice. So that's a good one. We're gonna get into some nerdy news now.
Nerd news.
So we are quite literally 1 month away from convention, basically as we speak. You'll hear this 1 month away from convention. We are recording it 1 month away from convention. Comic-Con 2019 is June 28th, 29th, and 30th at the Mid-America Center in Council Bluffs, Iowa.
Ocon Expo.
Yep. Is the
official
hashtag?
name.
Okay.
Because we can't say Comic-Con.
Well, we can. It's Omaha Comic-Con.
It's not.
It's not. It's people know it as Omaha Comic Con, but it's actually like what Josh says. It's Omaha
Expo.
Omaha Convention Expo or Omaha Expo.
That's dumb.
Blame.
Comic Expo or something.
Anyway, so we are going to be with Project Nerd under the Bud Light Pavilion. We'll call it the Project Nerd Pavilion that weekend. Tickets are going to be $40 for a 3-day pass. And then the subsequent daily passes are a little bit cheaper if you're only able to come one day. Notable guests are Kate Flannery, Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, Sam Jones, Aunt Lucia, Jason Meents, and Turner Cosplay. We've pretty much seen all of those people in one way or another at one convention or another.
Really excited to see Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
Flash.
He's gonna save every one of us.
Was he actually like a real superhero back in the day?
Flash Gordon?
Yeah.
It was like a movie that came out,
Dale,
and it was really good.
You don't know Flash Gordon?
Zero.
I would honestly suggest. I mean, it's
better read up because that's your question next week.
It's rough to watch now, but like the soundtrack's phenomenal. It was done by Queen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like, sci-fi was taken off, and they're like, how can we make a sci-fi movie with out the budget of what Star Wars does.
Yeah.
And you can easily tell
Very much
with
so.
Hawkmen and space Sea-Doos.
Well, don't they?
Space Sea-Doos?
Oh yeah,
Don't they?
jet skis and
Like you're talking about space jet skis?
pretty much.
So hold on,
That's
pause. Don't they mock Hawkman in Rick and Morty? Isn't that what
Bird Person
Bird
is?
Person?
Yeah, pretty much one of the Hawk people from
Flash Gordon?
Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
I thought Bird Person was supposed to knock Space Ghost Coast to Coast guy.
Barack
No.
or
Space Ghost.
no?
What do you mean?
I'm gonna fact check you on that one.
Hey,
I'm just saying,
I could
like,
be completely
the
wrong.
character, I
I'm
think,
7
is-
out of 14, so don't get my pop
Bird
culture.
Person.
But
I mean, he's not actually. I mean, a direct rip from Flash Gordon. It just is very similar.
yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I thought I heard a deal about like in an interview, like he's directly a ripoff. Anyway,
he very well could be.
anyway, not like a ripoff, but like a caricature mocking the. Anyway, so we're gonna be at Con Expo. Fucking copyright bullshit. The Omaha Comic and Nerd Convention that happens in Omaha, Iowa. So
We did talk about this news, by the way. Like this is when
San Diego.
So it was Salt Lake Comic-Con like filed their lawsuit. Like so they tried to defend it, and Salt Lake Comic-Con lost the lawsuit. And so now the legal precedent is that no one can use the name Comic-Con because it's copyrighted
by
San Diego.
San Diego Comic-Con.
Yep.
Really? So Planet Comic-Con can't use?
Nope, that's why Planet Comic-Con changed their name as well.
Why?
That's Planet Comic Kansas City or something.
Yeah. Something like that.
Well, it's PCKC, Planet Comic-Con, Kansas City.
I think because they spelled it with a K, maybe that's why they got away with it.
They didn't.
No, it was
Oh.
something. I mean, or they're just big
Maybe
enough where they don't
maybe
care
it
if they
was-
try to get sued.
Maybe
Because their website's still planetcomiccon.com.
Yeah, I just know a lot of.
It is one word though. Does it matter if it's 2 words or 1 word?
No, that shouldn't. I think that was part of the lawsuit too. Like they couldn't get away with that as well. It's why Denver changed their name as well.
Whatever.
So Denver Comic Cons.
We'll find out in future years.
Yeah.
But so we're gonna have a link down below where you guys can get tickets. The link I have on the script is just a generic one. But if you guys would like to support Baroness Von T cosplay, or Sabrina, as you know her, she's a Project Nerd affiliate. We do an affiliate link for her. Helps out obviously Comic-Con, but it also helps out her as well. Project Nerd and Sex Nerd Science do not have affiliate links for this con, unfortunately.
Oh, so what? I wonder if Planet Comic-Con is part of Comic-Con International because they kind of use the same logo, don't they?
Possibly.
You guys don't even care what I say, do you?
We do. We were listening,
Yeah,
but Drew
care.
was going to fill himself in here on CCT's trademark applied only to Comic-Con with a hyphen. So Comic-Con separate or Comic-Con without the second C should technically be okay too as well. But
Because Planet Comic-Con is actually individual. It is owned by Planet Promotionals LLC.
Yep. I think that there's just a lot of people that are like, hey, we can't fight a legal battle against like that conglomerate Comic-Con International.
Yeah.
So they were just like, we're all just going to change our name so no one says anything about it.
Which is, I didn't realize that was a big thing. I mean, I guess we talked about it, but I don't remember that. So I didn't realize it was a big thing because
We didn't know what the fallout was going to be, I think. We just knew that they sided in favor of Comic-Con International.
the biggest fucking thing is we're all damn nerds, and I don't understand why someone would like, or anybody in the Comic-Con space would be like, oh, we're copyrighting Comic-Con.
People who do it aren't the nerds.
Money.
What'd you say, Dale?
The people who do it aren't the nerds. The people who do it are the ones who invest.
Own the business.
Yeah, I suppose. So anyway, you can buy tickets for Ocon Expo at what is it? What's the website now? Since is it oconexpo.com?
Yeah. So you can go to Ocon Expo.
It automatically forwards to, if you did Omaha Comic Con, it forwards to Ocon Expo.
Yep. So the generic link for tickets is there, but like I said, we have Baroness Von T cosplay. She's a friend of the podcast, so
Been on several times.
Yep. So if you would like to support her and her cosplay venues and whatnot, and get her places, that'll help her out and then help us out. So
perfect.
Yeah.
So next up is our segment Nerd Battle. And this week's segment was, or the topic, we didn't touch on it in the last week's episode of what it would be, but the guys hit me up and told me.
Dale actually knows what I was doing
I
too.
have no idea.
So the guys hit me up afterwards and was like, "Hey, so
I was just showing Dale my
Drew.
jitsu hands.
I'm sorry.
we never
Announced last week.
We never announced last week what the parameters were going to be. So the guys hit me up and told me, "Hey, what are we doing?" And I said, "Sword fight." And then I saw the wheels turning in Josh's face and Dale's face, and so I said, "No lightsabers, no like energy swords, specifically a metal blade sword. Doesn't have to be human. Doesn't have to have special like talents. They can be human or not, but they have to use metal swords." So, Dale, do you remember what yours was?
Yeah.
Okay. Josh, do you remember what yours was?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Dale picked Genji from Overwatch.
Oh.
Dale, you can go put that down.
Yep.
All right, Dale, give me your 3-sentence summary of why you think Genji is a good swords person.
I'm already Genji.
I think Genji is a good sword person because he can deflect things, so he can't get hurt when he's being shot at, obviously. But he can also do the Dragon Strike, which pulls out a third sword, so he has 3 swords. Does some cool stuff.
You have 3 arms to wield 3 swords?
And then he's super quick, and he can dash and
Why do we
jump
pick
high.
Here's like this? I'm sorry. Knowing what you picked and knowing what I picked, like this is the 3rd time where without us communicating what characters we're going to pick, like this should be a really good fight. I'm really excited to hear what Drew's winners.
All right, and Josh picked Kratos, the god of war.
Dale has to Google Kratos.
Kratos.
I don't know who this is.
Josh, give me.
So I picked Kratos, the god of war, because I
it's a
wanted
game.
someone who is capable of fighting with many different sword styles, whether it's one giant sword of Zeus, but his go-to weapon is his 2 little handheld swords that are on chains that he can straight up just whip across a level and annihilate people with them.
So I wanted to.
He uses them for defense, offense, and he's even killed multiple gods with said swords.
Have you guys ever played Soul Calibur?
Yes.
Which I was hoping you were going to pick someone from Soul Calibur.
I was gonna pick Soul Calibur with that whip sword thing. Yeah, that would have been cool. But
That would have been. See, I think that would have been the more similar, like dual choice thing that you guys have been doing. I don't think this one kind of falls in the same thing. However,
They're both video game sword fighters, though. Like
Yeah,
that's
but
where I'm like,
but that's like, I mean, you could pick
Yeah.
a number of.
yeah,
So
I
it's
just-
none of us
I-
picked real sword fighters. We didn't pick any movie sword fighters.
One real sword fighter, you know.
I don't know. That's why I was saying like.
So I mean,
But I mean, like we didn't pick like like no one's like Brienne of Tarth.
Well, yeah, but she is not known for the sword fighting. She's known for the movie or the Game of Thrones. Like, anyway,
The Hound.
so with this nerd battle, basically, my thought was, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I always forget. Is Genji the one that does the dragon thing?
oh, you talking about the Dragon Spiral?
Yes.
No.
Who is that?
That's Hanzo.
Hanzo. Thank you. So I can.
Bow and arrow.
Genji does the
Dragon strike. He takes the sword out and then.
Oh yeah. I couldn't remember. So I think they both are there with the speed. And I definitely think they both have basically a dual wielding ability because they both use two swords.
Or 3 apparently. From
here's the thing: is at the point where Genji uses an ultimate. He uses was it the third? What is it called? What do you call it, Dale?
I don't know. It's called Dragon Strike. I don't know actually what the sword's called.
Oh, he makes that fake sword or whatever. Gets that.
He has 2 swords, one on each side, and then he has a third sword on his back.
Oh,
yeah.
So
he sheathed the other 2 swords and unsheathed the third sword.
So with the reach that Kratos has, matched with his speed and the ability to use brute strength with it as well, gets him an advantage there. However, I think that the stealth that Genji pulls, at least from when I've played the game, because somebody always comes up and chops me in the fucking back, is going to be his advantage in this battle, because the only thing that Kratos can do is basically side roll out of the way based on the game. I mean, I'm going off of the game. It's not, so I'm definitely thinking that even though Kratos can wield big swords and even some non-sword items like a sickle or a scythe or a hammer fist from
a weapons expert almost.
Yeah. I think that limited to the sword capabilities, also you have to think, even though he is a god killer, he has been killed by multiple tiny little grunts in the game. So I'm going to give this one to Genji, specifically because of the stealth.
What if we settle for Genji delivering a fatal blow to Kratos, but as Kratos dies, just hacks the shit out of Genji, and then they draw? Is that an option to get a draw out of this?
I don't think we can get a draw.
Oh, man. I mean, God of War Kratos, you couldn't do anything to because he was immortal.
Well, yes.
But
I'm sorry, you didn't specify that in the beginning.
Well, I mean, I just said
Kratos.
Yeah. So here's the thing: you got Kratos, God of War, throughout there. At this point in his career, he is beaten and bruised,
old
and battered,
hell.
and also has his.
Did I say in his prime, or did I just say Kratos?
You just said Kratos.
I think I did. I was driving, so.
I mean, if you want to think about it, it is in their current game forms.
Isn't he a daddy? Isn't he a daddy?
Yeah, he is a daddy.
Boy.
So Genji takes the cake on this one. So you
win this round, Dale.
You win this round, Dale.
Yay!
So let's put next week's on single character magic ability. So single character magic use.
Can we limit it to no arcane focuses or with arcane focuses?
I'm sorry?
Staff, magic wand, those are arcane focuses.
Oh, so you're talking about like things that they use, instruments of magic.
Is that okay to have? Not okay to have?
You basically would outsource all wizards.
Well, I'm thinking.
Oh my God, cat's gonna die. Is that the cat?
I don't know what it was.
That's
something fell. Something sounded expensive fell.
Ooh, that's not good. So do you understand? I was talking about
I would keep arcane focuses in there. I think
because then you could use like with Harry Potter, you have a
wand.
So
so I'm gonna leave it open. You can have or don't have an instrument of magic.
Okay.
I mean, at that point, any magic is fair game. Just one character, and I mean, so you're thinking, and I might say some of your guys' things here, so forgive me. Doctor Strange, he's got he's just got his hands. he's got hands, or technically his little thingies or whatever. But like, Harry Potter's got a wand. Who's somebody who uses an umbrella for magic?
Mary Poppins.
Yeah, Mary Poppins. She uses magic. Sure.
Also Hagrid.
Hagrid uses umbrella. Thank you. I mean, if they want an instrument, you can have an instrument. If not a big deal. It's just specific.
Wait, also the villain in Batman.
That's the Penguin. He doesn't use magic.
No, Shade.
What?
Shade.
Shade?
Yeah.
Oh, I suppose.
I'm pretty sure that's magic, and he has an umbrella.
Gotta go grab our food. Pause.
Magic.
Is this like a legit pause?
I mean, yeah, because I think the rest of the stuff Drew wants to be involved in. I still think Kratos would kick Genji's ass. There's no sneaking up.
Hold on. If we're legitimately gonna cut this out, you got to leave a pause so I can see it.
No, we don't need to cut it out. We can continue talking. I mean, we might not cut out the cutout part, but me and you can continue talking about how
editing works.
I do know how editing works.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I don't think. I think Kratos would die.
You have no idea. Watch Kratos fight somebody.
I think I have. I've seen gameplay of it, but I think the speed of Genji would be too much for him.
He killed the messenger god.
Yeah, that's too bad.
He's the fastest person. Like, he flies around the world. Like, he's super fast. Like, that's what Hermes is known for. Yeah. And he straight up is like, "Hey, Hermes," and then just and then
he got close because he trusted him. By the way, I thought Ares was the god of war.
Ares is the god of war. Kratos kills Ares because he's sick of his shit. Not really. He's actually Kratos kills Ares because Ares convinces Kratos to murder a town that his original wife and child are in.
Is he a human?
Kratos starts off human.
Okay.
And then he ends up killing all the Greek gods, then kills Gia, then kills...
This podcast brought to you in part by Canes.
Don't say that. They can sponsor us at one point in time.
Not sponsored, not sponsored.
Not sponsored. Cover my Canes up in my butt.
Oh, this generic chicken is so delicious.
I was just telling Dale how I disagree. I think our commenters are also going to disagree, but that's okay.
Well, as soon as we get one, I'll let you know.
Yeah. Hey, we will. I know if Kyle hears this, Kyle's going to be like, "Kratos over Genji."
Oh.
I was Mercury, though. I mean, he like Hermes doesn't stand a chance, and Hermes is one of the fastest creatures like in existence.
No, I get it.
Like, and he's sneaky.
I get it, but if I put logic, a full amount of logic into that, and didn't just, I spent time playing with games with Dale today, so I favored him a little
that's
bit.
Fine. That's we gave you that option.
That's the way it goes.
I just didn't expect you and Dale to kiss and make up. That was the real reason why I wouldn't let you guys talk to each other, and I just had to mediate the fights.
And guess what? We did, and now you're fucked.
Yeah. Well, I'll win next week. That's all.
Drail is a force to be reckoned.
I know what I'm going to do with my magic. So.
I already picked a character. So you're done.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
He already texted me. I already told him he won.
Oh, okay.
That's how it works.
So next week, a magic fight we'll have on our hands.
Was that a fart?
Guardian Leviosa.
Head up some sciencey news?
I do want to head up some sciencey news. So lots of stuff's been happening in space lately. We've had 60 satellites from Starlink on SpaceX get launched, which is pretty cool. Starlink is super complicated, and we don't have enough time to cover it all. But basically, to sum it up, SpaceX wants to cover near Earth orbit in satellites that can do broadband frequencies, so we can give global internet, satellite-based internet, at a reliable spot, at reliable bandwidth. So, but 60 of, I think they need 2,600 is the goal. I'm not entirely sure about that number. I forgot exactly how many, but I know with 60 they're not going to have anything. I think it's at 200 something. Elon Musk said they'll have a North American network pretty well covered. But to get a global network, they're going to need a lot more. I've heard anywhere from 2,600 to even thousands of satellite, even more than that.
2,600 sounds right to me, but I'm looking it up. See if I can find it.
Well,
yeah, because it was a decent amount.
what's the current like number? Like there's like 5,200 random items floating in.
Oh, I mean, there's
tens of thousands.
Yeah. And we're just only tracking a couple 10,000. But most communication satellites are in geosynchronous orbit, so they are super expensive to put up, and also exist really high up where they don't have to worry about falling back down to Earth. Whereas these satellites are going to be super cheap, and there's going to be a ton of them. The idea is that they would be in service for a couple of years, and then they'd let them fall back to Earth, disintegrate, and get destroyed on their way down.
So they would burn up on reentry then?
Yeah, they're just trying to make cheap ones that do a really good job, that are meant to fall back to Earth. That's why they need so many of them. So even if one falls out of orbit, it's not going to ruin the whole web of stuff. They can just reroute it.
So, real quick, how long has Starlink been an idea? I mean, not like an idea, but like how long have they been working on it actively?
4 years. It's not too long.
I feel like I haven't heard a thing about it.
I saw a video on it, and I'll try to post a link about it.
Yeah, I've been watching videos like crazy on it to try to learn more about it.
They talked about like one of these satellites costs more than the rocket it takes to launch.
No, that's one of like the regular communication satellites cost more money than the rocket to launch.
Not one of those. I thought it was one of these. I mean, I'll look up the video.
The one I saw was talking about Facebook's satellite from the failed Falcon 9 launch. The Falcon 9 rocket cost like $63 million. The satellite was like $260 million. Like it was insanely expensive for like a traditional satellite. But these little tiny satellites are a lot cheaper. I think they're in the magnitudes of a couple thousands of dollars. So you can put huge amounts of them up in the air, and it not cost a whole lot of money. They have a single solar sail on them to keep them powered, and they have a tiny it's not xenon, it's
Warrior Princess.
No, it's another noble gas. I want to say it's Krypton, actually. I think a Krypton powered engine.
Kryptonite? What?
No, it's a Krypton ion engine. So instead of pumping out ions,
One Love.
instead of pumping out ions from xenon, they use, which is expensive. They use Krypton, which is actually super cheap, but also more costly.
Dale.
In the long
Yes, I'm looking at, based on this
Starlink.
Marcus House video, it's showing that it was $10 billion for 1,200 satellites. So roughly just under $1 million per satellite.
Yeah,
For the Starlink ones?
For the Starlink ones.
Which is, I guess, better than 260 for
One of the
260 million for one.
Facebook ones, and the rocket only costs $61 million per launch. I think.
No, like 600,000. I thought.
Is it 600,000?
Yeah, that's why it's more to.
It's more for the satellites than.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
How much to launch Falcon 9?
I thought it was. Yeah, and we don't need the Falcon Heavy either. We just need the regular Falcon 9 to put up 60. And the reason why we only limited it to 60 is because that's how many could fit in the fairing. Falcon 9 has the same, or Falcon Heavy has the same size, like fairing on it. So you can't put more satellites even in the Falcon Heavy until they change that.
So it only costs $250,000 to use it.
It's probably because it's reusable.
It's
so
reusable.
They factor in the cost of material.
But it's between 62 to 73 million for the rocket itself to make it.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah, I think it was like 60 something to make the rocket. So like one rocket plus.
And they've been able to reuse those how many times? Like 4 or 5?
The rocket that did this was on its third reuse. So. Crazy. Awesome. SpaceX. Going to be your new cable provider.
Some crazy stuff coming out of there. But,
also, we got some other space news.
Some other space news. Go ahead.
I packed the science section this week.
So also, in a really weird power move, the United States and NASA has said that they want to return to the moon by 2024, and not just like visit the moon. They want to put people living on the moon by 2024 is the exaggeration. I call it an exaggeration because literally every president since JFK has promised people on the moon living there by a certain date.
No president has offered us a space force. And to get a space force, you need a space base.
So except this is going to be a coalition of nations, and it's not going to be owned by just the United States.
You know better than that.
This is how you get the United Federation of Planets.
This is how you get a United Federation. Yeah, this is exactly how.
The USNC.
And then you also get that thing from what was that movie that French dude made?
You talking about 1,000?
Yeah, the City of 1,000 Planets.
City of 10,000 planets, or whatever it's called. I love that opening scene.
The whole movie was good.
The whole movie was good. I liked it, but the opening scene.
As delicious as this Raising Cane's chicken.
Stop trying to get us sponsored by Raising Cane's. I would love to. It ain't happening though.
Sponsored by Raising Cane's.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Not really.
But yeah, so the idea is to get to the moon by 2024, and have stuff on the moon, basically colonizing it. Reasons why this would be super easy. If we can start putting stuff on the moon and then building launch sites from the moon to go into outer space, it is a lot cheaper and a lot less expensive to send someone to Mars from
minimal gravity
than it is to send somebody from the Earth to Mars.
I didn't mean like zero gravity. I mean just like less gravity.
I'm sorry. I was confused when you said zero gravity. I thought you meant zero gravity.
Hey,
my bad.
First of all, both of you guys, there's almost never a time in space where you have zero gravity. It's almost always microgravity.
Got a micro penis.
Wow.
Boom.
Micro roasted.
That's the current ISS mission right now.
ISS
it's
missionary?
like 8 hours in space, isn't it? 2 Russians out there.
Yeah. So they're I think that was to fix the thing.
They were doing a really long spacewalk though today.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the current mission of the ISS is to study the effects of microgravity on colloids. Am I saying that right?
I have no idea.
It's like strawberry jelly. It's like non-Newtonian fluids.
Oh,
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know specifically.
Did you say strawberry jelly is considered a non-Newtonian fluid?
That's one of the examples they gave.
There's no way that strawberry jelly is considered a non-Newtonian fluid.
No, but maybe strawberry jam is.
They said, well, it could have been jam. I don't know, but
I still say neither of those would be considered non-Newtonian fluid.
All right, so
colloid or whatever.
What do you think about? What do you think about the weight that goes on the moon? How much can we weigh the moon down with new shit before it falls to the Earth?
It's going to take a lot because the moon's floating away from us.
No, I know. So how much? How much, Dale?
How much what?
How much weight do you think it would take to weigh the moon down to the Earth?
I think it would just
add
more weight to it. It would find a stable orbit.
For
the most part.
I would say you can't add more weight to it. You have to add more mass to it.
Well, I mean, you would be adding more mass to it.
And
stuff on it.
You can add more stuff from it, but I think anytime you add stuff, you're pulling the two pieces away from each other regardless. So I don't think you'll ever be able to do it.
So you're saying that if we take stuff from Earth and lower the mass of Earth and then put that mass on the moon, that nothing's going to happen?
Yeah.
Good. That's how gravity works. If you get the equations for gravity, it's literally mass 1, mass 2, ratio between them. Doesn't matter if you take one from here, move it here, same G.
Yeah, but we create mass all the time on the Earth.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
You don't? You don't think we do? What are people?
What are people? Fundamental theory.
What are people?
People are a collection of matter that's already on the Earth.
You're gonna tell me that a tiny little sperm comes into a hole?
It's in actually, you just ate like 14 tiny little sperms with that piece of bread right there. That bread is going to get converted into spermies.
It's probably. I don't know the science behind that.
I do.
Yeah.
Dale does. It's called conservation of matter.
Anyway,
It's one of the laws that we have
First
to.
law?
Raising Cane's chicken gonna get me.
It is.
First law?
All right, so next bet here. Huawei. Telecommunications ban. August 2008. Somebody else read this. I'm fucking winded.
Yeah, it's because you just keep stuffing your face with food instead of like we could finish the podcast and eat food if
I'm
you'd
so
stop stuffing
hungry.
your face. Me too. Me too. Didn't eat dinner. So
I'm currently eating dinner.
Huawei,
Huawei. It's Huawei.
is a telecommunications company that the United States doesn't like working with anymore because they like working with China and giving away our information to China. So Congress
Has there
passed
been
this
a
year's
confirmed confirmation of that?
Yeah, the CEO of Huawei has a warrant for her arrest in the United States and Canada.
Really?
Yeah.
This was late last year.
Yeah, she's not allowed back in the country. And it's because, so first of all, our 5G towers, which we will be talking about later, were also targeted by China. They were made by Qualcomm. Same problem. Basically, all these Chinese companies keep wanting to, they don't want to say, we will not use our technology to spy on Americans and deliver this information to whoever wants it. And because they won't say that they're not going to use that information.
What about Americans? Have Americans said that they won't use the information to tell a thing about?
Nothing gets made in America anymore.
Well, that's the, I guess, the double-edged sword is, would you rather have Americans spying on Americans or Chinese spying on Americans?
I guess at that point, it doesn't matter because some of the Americans are so corrupt that they're selling the shit to China anyway.
I mean, realistically, yeah, that's, I mean, we're a global society. We shouldn't care what a telecommunications company in China wants to do to get the leg up on the United States in manufacturing and technology and stuff like that. However,
that's really all they're after, right?
No, they're after the data that we provide. I mean, it's data is money, and so ultimately they're after the data. But any data that they find that they want to use towards, collusion or anything else.
Scary to me.
like on a small scale, it can be used to track individuals and be able to post those locations to enemies. On a large scale, it can be used to, like Dale said, weird. Yeah, I got a weird fetish, guys. It can be used
don't kink shame yourself.
Yeah, it can be used to, be used for data mining. Find out where we like to go to eat, where do we shop, what do we do here, and that literally will just answer questions for businesses in China that are already producing things to target audiences like Facebook does or like somebody else does.
Right now, we have the option to opt out of those things, where if we were to go with a Chinese company or another company that wouldn't let us opt out of those, then we would have to be subject to anything, pretty much.
Yeah, but even if we opt out, they still collect the data.
Yes, they would in a sense. I use a VPN, or you could use
Real sugar.
a private like a node based browser or something like that. There's ways around that. There's still companies that collect data like that. But you can also, it's not about where you go, it's about the information they give you once you have it. So like if I was to search, like one of the things like that we talked about, if I was to search for something in Google and then search for something somewhere else, the results would differ obviously because of the different algorithms, but it should be relatively the same. Where if I was to search on a platform that was from another country or from another bad actor that wanted to feed you information or wrong information or wanted you to go to these sites because they can make money from them, then they could do that without having to tell you. What?
I think it's bullshit.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's lots of people don't care about that stuff. And I think that's where it gets really frustrating is because, I think Drew, the reason why we have him on the podcast, he's kind of our everyman. And
I take fucking offense to that.
Well,
I'm better than every man.
Oh, good. He's just like every man. And that's the thing. Like, this isn't an issue that the only reason I know is because I'm in telecommunication sales and people are like, what about this? Like the dang Chinese. So one of the things I will say, Motorola, owned by Lenovo, Chinese company, not having these problems. Huawei ZTE having these problems.
But here's the issue.
Motorola is in the United States staple now, though.
Yeah.
But are they being presented with the same information, the same constrictions where they can't? So exactly. So it's only because Huawei was produced or was presented with, hey, you should not, you have to tell us you are or aren't. If that was the same thing for Nokia or Motorola or whatever,
Swedish,
whatever, you know what I'm saying? And Lenovo, Colovo, you basically gonna get the same fucking outcome. They're not gonna tell you no. They don't want to collect the data.
I mean, they do though, and I think that's the reason why we're not having this issue with Motorola, and we are with Huawei.
I just
and
asked
ZTE.
you if they asked them, if you think that they asked them the same thing. You said no.
But I mean, like Motorola wouldn't necessarily like Motorola is like, hey, we're not doing this right now. We're already complying to what the United States wants us to. And Huawei is like, no, we're not going to do it.
Yeah, you get that microphone, girl. So, I guess I don't know. It's
and ZTE is the other one too. ZTE and Huawei are huge outside of the United States.
Well, and they're also
don't tell my Motorola rep this. Motorola's nothing in the United States. It's not even the third largest carrier. You know,
I would like to see, like, I haven't actually paid attention to Motorola, but I know they make like a lot of headset equipment. When I was at the airport, a lot of stuff with Motorola.
They're not I would like to say they're not cell phone based. Like they're not cell phone focused.
Don't tell them that.
I mean, they make a dozen different brands or dozen different types of walkie-talkies, headsets, like Dale's saying.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not cornering the market on cell phones. They're cornering the market on third-party communication type items.
But I know the FAA uses exclusively Motorola.
But look at Samsung, look at LG as far as what part of the market they both have. LG and Samsung, you've got literally two Samsung monitors in this room that we're in, and nothing made by Motorola in here that I can see.
That you can see. Probably the modem inside the computer.
That's true. And even
probably I would say the modem inside your Wi-Fi router and the whatnot.
But it's one of those things where, like, and that's exactly what my Motorola rep would tell me is like, hey, do you know who makes all of that stuff? Like, yeah, I get it. Motorola was the first cell phone manufacturer as well. It's one of the reasons that makes Lenovo such a powerful company. But as far as like market share is concerned, they still don't hold a candle to LG, Samsung, and Apple. Like,
so do you think this has, do you think that this is a back-ended, the communications deal is a back-ended thing for the China ban or the Apple ban in China? If this is a retaliatory thing. However, they're saying, you know, it's a retaliatory thing on one end, because I'm not familiar. You can refresh me on why Apple is banned from China. But isn't it the same issue? Apple didn't say that they would not. I mean, it's the same issue, I thought.
No, it's kind of an opposite thing there. Because, I mean, like, China doesn't want Apple in the country.
But why?
I think it's because of the market.
American. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to say it's American. Well, I would say it's not because it's American. It's because it's not Chinese.
Yeah, and they make more money selling. You know, they make more money off of Apple having their factories in China and then paying the taxes and fees to ship those back to the United States than they do from Apple actually selling those phones in China, and then part of the profits going back to Apple when China can produce those exact same phones in China or better versions of those phones and take 100% of the profits in China.
So
It's the exact opposite mentality that the United States has. The United States will outsource everything for manufacturing and then complain when the people providing the service to us don't adhere to our thing. So it's you see this in the automotive industry right now, with Mexico and Canada. They use they use our steel that we export to them and aluminum that we export to them to build cars, and then they redeliver those cars back to us, and we have to pay now. So our tariff system, which thank God we got rid of the tariffs going to Canada and Mexico, but the tariff system was set up so the United States taxpayer pays when we repurchase that car back. And the same thing with the phones. Like, we export all the materials for the phones to be made to China, and then we end up having to pay China to manufacture that phone and bring the phone back to the United States.
I feel like as soon as you say, okay, we don't want Apple phones, I mean, Apple is, even if they're getting manufactured in China, it's an American product, right? So now we say, okay, well, you're going to get rid of the number 3 worldwide largest provider of cell phones out of your country, which has the number 1 biggest population at that point, right?
And it probably brings in billions into the country.
The problem is, selling Huawei and ZTE in China makes them more money than Apple can even conceive of making.
No, and I get it.
Like, it's no sweat off China's back to not have Apple there. Same thing with Tesla. So Tesla now has a factory that they're building specifically in China to only sell to the Chinese market. So part of the deal with the United States is Tesla can build their factory in China, their largest. So the gigafactories here in the United States, it's huge. They're building an even bigger gigafactory in China just to make Model 3s to sell in the China market.
Honestly, now that you think about that, Ford does the same thing.
Yeah, and they can't sell those China-made Model 3s back to the United States. They can only sell them in China. That's their deal they have with China.
Yeah. And
because again, China's like, hey, we will make more money to sell them here and manufacture them here than we do to buy them from the United States.
And I get it. I'm just saying the overall bottom line is I feel like it's retaliatory, mostly because it's so quick after. Apple's decision, or the China's decision to get rid of Apple, was only last fall, wasn't it?
No, it's been since the creation of Apple. China has not allowed the sale of Apple phones in China since Apple has been selling phones.
For 10 years?
At least.
Really?
I don't even think you can sell Mac products even in China.
That seems so weird.
It's because they're all made over there. Why would China pay any amount of money to another country in profits when they can manufacture and produce the same product in China for less money and make more money on it? It just doesn't. That's the difference between the United States being a trade commodity country. We're based off trade, and China being isolationist, where if China wanted to shut down their borders, short of, even at this point in time, it used to be a huge importer of coal and other resources, but now China is one of the leaders in alternative fuels. China could shut down their borders and say, hey, we're not going to trade with anybody, and their economy would still thrive because they have 60% of the world's population in East Asia.
Suppose.
Yes, I agree, but their economy would not thrive as of right now. They would actually have a food shortage very quickly.
Food is one of their major imports.
They import a lot of food, a lot of rice from the United States.
Yeah. And that's probably the only thing that the United States probably exports to China that we can make some money on. And then we go ahead and we add tariffs, which then put the money on, Nebraska farmers definitely don't want tariffs on food going to China, because it's not doing what it's supposed to do.
Oh, oopsies.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's move on to the next bit. I said it before you, Drew.
I said it.
Hey, this is another thing that's happening in China.
All right. So, Dale, go ahead.
Oh, no, I that was kind of the same thing. It was the whole U.S.-China 5G race. It has a lot to do with Huawei as well.
Yeah, and Qualcomm.
and Qualcomm because.
So I mean, at this point, where are both of them at?
The United States has stopped their contract with Qualcomm for 5G towers. So all of the 5G towers that are being manufactured by Qualcomm need to be removed. And we are going to use, I think, Motorola and Samsung.
I believe it's up in the air right now. I don't think
Is
anything's
it?
been decided.
I don't think we decided on who we're going to use, but the United States is like, we're going to get rid of all of our Qualcomm towers in the United States.
Which sucks because it pushes 5G back.
Yep, it is going to push. I mean, so we are seeing some bandwidths opening up right now, though. Like that is a thing, but true 5G, will probably be pushed out.
Said 2022 at this point
for something that was supposed to be out in 2020.
Damn. Well,
what about the next little thing I had in there? What about AT&T's 5G E?
Good. Oh, you just wrote that in there?
Yeah, that you had in Detroit, Josh.
I not only had it in Detroit, I also had it in the entire state of Illinois while driving. 5GE is literally just reserved bandwidths that were once part of the 3G network that are reserved specifically for phones that are capable to have 5GE. So my iPhone, when I was in an area where normally I'd be in 4G or roaming, almost 3G areas, or like now I was in a 5GE area, and I had better. So I have Verizon and AT&T on my phone. Verizon had LTE, AT&T had 5GE. I got 14 megabytes download speed on 5GE. I got 7 megabytes on LTE. Voice quality skyrocketed. Voice over LTE is a thing that a lot of carriers are doing right now. They turn your voice into a digital signal, and then they send it through packets of data instead of turning it into a radio signal and using the radio signal to then go to a radio antenna in your phone. They're just making use of just data antennas. So you get voice over LTE, which was a thing that came on the 4G LTE network and then the 5G E network. It's fake 5G. It's not true 5G. I just want to point that out. I don't want people being
so
like, "Oh,
what's the up convert for that then? Are they having to retrofit the 3G towers? Or?
They're eliminating 3G towers and putting new antennas on them for the 5G.
No, I don't think they're putting new antennas.
3G frequencies.
So I think they're putting new different amplifiers on them.
So that's what I'm saying. They're retrofitting the old 3G antennas.
Yeah. They're doing something with them where it boosts the signal stronger, and it utilizes, I believe it uses both, so it's a dual band.
It will, yeah. It uses the bands, the radio bands that were once part of the 3G network as part of it. It doesn't use the 5 gigahertz frequency, which is the part of the 5G that's going to be in there, is that larger 5 gigahertz frequency, only because it's really line of sight with 5G right now is one of the things they've noticed about true 5G. So there are a few areas in the United States that have true 5G. There's a 4-block city radius in Illinois that you can get Verizon 5G on right now.
Is that, are those using Qualcomm towers?
I believe so, yeah.
So they're going to rip those out?
Yep, eventually.
They wouldn't try and buy them?
No, it's the manufacture process on them. Like the people who own those can have access to them at any point in time.
Well, I know. But I know Qualcomm, like I thought the way it works is Qualcomm produces it, and then person who wants to hold to pay for it or to maintain it gets it. Like you buy an Apple phone and then it's yours after you own it.
No, that's not even true.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Yes, it is.
I mean, technically, no, because if Apple wanted to, they can brick your phone at any time.
That's the difference between software and hardware. You own the hardware, you don't own the software.
So that's what I'm saying is, okay, never mind.
And this is the reason why Qualcomm as a whole isn't necessarily to blame. It's just the 5G antennas for Qualcomm, because they're using the hardware pieces to also spy is what the problem we're running into. Because Qualcomm makes most of the processing chips in most Android phones. Those aren't a problem. But
whichever.
Yeah. These 5G antennas are pretty crazy. 5G is pretty cool. I mean, but it's not something that's going to replace LTE soon. It's just a gimmick at this point in time. There's only 2 phones out that have 5G. It's Motorola. Go figure. It's a Motorola phone with a 5G mod, that Moto mod that you can put on the back.
That's honestly why I'm waiting to do. Oh, hi, Drew. You're really close.
I give you a 5G antenna, and then there's also the Samsung S. So the Samsung S10 Plus also has a 5G version right now.
Say it again.
The Samsung S10 Plus has a 5G version that's out.
I don't believe it's out yet.
I think
I'm waiting for that in August.
It might. Okay, you're right. It's out being tested currently. But
because I have a broken phone that I'm waiting to replace.
So the problem that I found out from my Samsung rep that actually had his hands on the 5G phone when they were testing it, because it's line of sight, because it's using the 5 gigahertz frequencies, or 5 megahertz. Sorry, not even gigahertz, 5 megahertz. It is, your hand interferes with it. So when you hold on to the phone, if your hand's blocking any of the antennas, it does not work. Dale might have just found out that he can buy probably a 5G.
You can pre-order them now. Comes out June 7th.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, I knew they were like, I was like, I don't know for a fact if my Samsung rep had his 5G one, but I know he had a phone. Use it.
No, but here's the thing. Right now, I can. Well, the whole thing is, no, you can't use it. But I need a new phone because my phone's broken. It works fine. I really don't need a new one. But what?
Just the glass.
Just the glass. I can replace the glass. It's an 8 though, and I want the newest thing, obviously, for whatever reason. But I have the option to get the S10 Plus now, with no option to have the 5G in the future, or I can wait until the 5G antenna is built into the phone, and then get that, and then
lose a camera on the 5G or the 5G 10 Plus.
Are you sure?
I think you lose a camera and the phone's thicker.
I don't think so.
Dale doesn't care about a little thickness.
I don't care about a little thickness.
I have the spreadsheet at home. I don't exactly remember what was on it.
I'm looking at it right now. Let's see. Despite being brand new, 5G is the Galaxy S10 5G is simply a Galaxy with some new guts. Next generation smartphone yet include the thing hemlock. Sorry, I'm reading this real quickly.
No problem. My science questions in me next year. Then I can eat my chicken.
The Galaxy S10 Plus, the 5G has a dual camera setup, but that's where the similarities end. While the one has an 8 megapixel depth sensor, the 5G has a HQVG, a 3D depth sensing camera, which will offer improved live focus photography and bring the effects of video footage for the first time.
So it's an upgrade on the
upgrade.
Okay, I knew it was something different.
So they basically are adding the 3D imaging.
It is 8 gigs of RAM instead of the 12.
Oh, so
it is a downgrade on the RAM.
Yep.
And you can't do the terabyte hard drive on it either. The one that was on there. I knew it was. I don't sell them yet, so I don't know what the differences are.
Okay. Unlike every other model of the S10 range, the 5G does not support expandable storage via micro SD.
Ooh,
because the whole outside has the antenna. You can't. That's probably what it is too.
Yeah. So, but I'm okay with that if I can get a gig. According to report, the 256, 512. However, it is worth taking this pitch with a grain of salt because it's whatever. So is this as of?
I love how we're still just reading off stuff while we're doing the podcast.
Exactly. It's like, this sounds so. I don't think there's a 1 gig.
I didn't think so. Yeah, I thought it was only that 5 Plus special edition that had the ceramic back on it.
I really want that one. But I'm okay with 512, but I want that expandable storage then.
Yeah. I mean,
better get on the cloud, Dale.
Here's the thing, Dale. Is there a
headphone jack?
It doesn't say there wasn't, and the S10 has one.
Here, Dale, do you own your other phone?
This one?
Yeah.
Yes.
So there you go. That's your expandable storage.
Just
no.
lug that thing around all the time, Dale.
I have 2 things around now?
Carrying 2 phones was not at all cumbersome for me.
No, but if you want to do video or recording like you have used the phones to do in the past.
I have a 5 terabyte hard drive I can lug around.
Okay, well then then don't worry about the expandable hard drive or expandable.
The expandable hard drives for pictures and shit that I just keep on my phone all the time.
You're not gonna do 512 gigs of pictures in the lifetime of that phone.
I don't know. I've never taken a picture off this phone.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
How many gigs of data do you?
I don't know. Let me check.
All right. Anyway,
Blind science question.
No, real quick. I want to talk about this earlier in the nerd.
Oh
news,
yeah.
But because we're talking about bans and stuff, I felt it fit here. There has recently been a legislature that is not been passed, but has been proposed, which may hurt a couple certain states. One in particular. Georgia is notorious for having film and television production done in its state.
Made in Georgia.
It's always on the end of the credits at the very bottom.
So the reason for that is because they have a 30% tax break for filming in that state. And one of the big things that has been
Detroit did it.
Just kidding. One of the big things is that has come from Georgia's legislation being imposed for the I guess what is it? Heart beating. What is it called?
It's the more strict abortion ban.
The heartbeat.
That's really what it is.
Heartbeat law, basically, is that a lot of people, places, and or people and entities are potentially going to stop working in Georgia. There's been a couple of people who have said that they're going to stop partaking in any filming in Georgia. So, I mean, that's, okay. So they film part of, and this is just a fake example, but they film part of Avengers Endgame in Georgia, and Chris Evans says he doesn't want to film in Georgia because of that. Well, they either have to change their location or do all of their filming with Chris Evans as like fake stunt actor or whatever, because he doesn't want to support Georgia.
I feel like he's doing an interview with somebody soon.
Yeah, I think so. It's our friends over at the Weekly Geekly.
Wait, they have an interview with Chris Evans?
Chris
His
Evans' stunt double.
Oh, pretty cool.
That is still pretty cool. Yeah.
So
what does he smell like?
So the
Georgia.
Idea, the biggest thing that's come from this, and I think Josh knows exactly what I'm referencing here, is Netflix has talked about potentially pulling out of any production that happens if the ban or the abortion law does become law, or the proposed abortion law does become law, which is
I think it's fighting a federal indictment right now. Like there's a federal case going against it in Georgia.
Yeah,
and they've blocked it.
And so, I mean, it. One of the things that was talked about in the video that Josh and I watched of Philip DeFranco's is whether or not it's empty promises or empty words because they think it might not go through, or
no, the whole point. Even the Georgia governor who signed this even said, I doubt this will hold up in court, but it will go to the Supreme Court where it can possibly be on their favor. And that's the point which she was trying to get to. She was okay with it failing right now, but she wants it to, she thinks because of a lot of conservative judges that have been used in the appellate courts and on the Supreme Court, that it's going to be able to have a better chance there. So this was actually a strategy of Georgia.
And whichever, and that's perfectly fine. However, that still brings me to the empty promises deal there, because it brings up 2 points for me. If Netflix does pull out of Georgia filming, or filming in Georgia, whatever, I said that backwards. If Netflix does stop, I hate you.
You said pull out.
I hate you. Because you got to take it there. You have to take it there. You took it there. Oh, you pull out. Oh, pull out. Then you don't get pregnant. Then there's no more.
Hey, you said it on me.
Yeah, that's because you were fucking making your
giggling like a schoolgirl.
I couldn't help it. There was a joke there that is not appropriate, but also in my head, and I can't unthink that.
So if Netflix stops filming in Georgia and loses that 30% tax break, then what does that do for their original content? I'm not saying that they should buck up and just I get the fight and I'm completely okay with it. But the things that you got to think about are the original content, maybe taking a nosedive, or at least, pulling the numbers back a little bit as far as their production value, or the price of our subscription going up, which I'm sure a million to one people are going to be more okay with paying more because they're supporting Netflix, who is supporting, women in the state of Georgia. But those are the two things that I think of, is it comes down to money. Everything comes down to money at this point. We talked about that already. So, at that point,
I don't think it's an empty promise. And I think that's what Philip DeFranco also pointed out too.
Is what I'm saying is,
it's still taking a stance. I know you're not saying that it is an empty promise, but I don't think the idea that it could possibly be taken as an empty promise even needs to be entertained, because this is still a private company taking a stand against something, saying, hey, we will do this if this happens. And anytime you have, in all honesty, so I don't want to be rude, but like the NFL still growing in popular. They've lost money, but they're still one of the most profitable organizations in the United States, even though all these people are protesting the NFL. Nike, still one of the most popular apparel brands, did not lose money because of all the people protesting against Nike. Oreos, for having the rainbow cream filling on their Pride Oreos.
Do they have Pride Oreos right now?
I don't know if they're out right now, but I know they had them like at one point in time, and it was like a huge thing. But it's one of those things where it's
a calculated risk with a lot of things.
Yeah, but so far that calculated risk time and time again has paid off in favor of the companies being bold, making these choices, and doing this. Even in the case of, I'm a private business owner and I'm not going to make a cake for this couple, it still turned out okay for the business. Like
2012.
Was that in 2012?
Yeah.
The Oreo Pride cookie?
Yeah. Oreo's taking some heat for a rainbow cookie ad, and it's posted Monday in recognition of Gay Pride Month. A photo posted on the company's Facebook page. The article is June 27th, 2012. So, basically 6 years ago.
So, companies have been doing stuff like this, taking a stand, whether it's a false, just a front or a PR stunt. They've been doing that. And it seems if you have good enough PR, you can recover from this and be more profitable. And I think Netflix is definitely they could be just fine from this. It's not going to affect Netflix.
And I get what, like you're saying, is it's not going to affect them negatively as far as PR goes,
or financially.
But when you take away a 30% tax break for 90% of your filming location for one specific company, you're going to have to make it up somewhere. If that's in your premium budget, is to get that 30% tax break. I get it. I get you're saying it's not going to hurt them. However, they're going to have to find it somewhere else, which is why they're not going to hurt. And not to say that it's even going to happen. Like you said, the legislature is probably just going to fall flat, whichever. However, what I'm saying is you have to think about those things too, because if they do, it's something that they'll have to find the money somewhere else.
So for the last 3 years, Netflix has raised their prices and not drawn fire or lost subscribers.
First of all, they did draw fire because they just like 6 months ago when Hulu dropped their prices, they said, Hulu's dropping their prices and Netflix just bumped it up at the same time. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And
they didn't lose subscribers. They're still gaining Netflix subscriptions and money.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And so the point I'm getting at is if it happens, and we think it won't and doesn't matter, just expect things like they're going to have to find it somewhere else. The only thing that will save that scenario is if somebody else offers that same or a similar tax credit for filming in their location and their state instead, which in his video, Philip DeFranco's video, he said that people have, or there's potentially states who have already campaigned for.
Detroit did it for 5 years too.
Did what for 5 years?
They had the tax credit for movies being filmed in Detroit. There was 4 or 5 feature-length films that were filmed in Detroit before the state pulled funding and tax credits from them.
Yeah,
eventually, and that was because Michigan's terrible with their money. But I mean, it was one of those things where like it happens all the time. I don't think Netflix is not going to raise their prices because of this. Netflix will raise their prices because somewhere in some room they have a 20-year plan that already says in 2021 we're going to raise our price to this amount based off how many people are going to be in here. It's going to have nothing to do with this.
It's calculated.
It's already going to be pre-calculated because they've already made so much more money just by raising everybody's rate $2 that 30% loss in revenue, on this is not going to change.
But that's what I'm saying is it's calculated, and they calculate that 30% revenue into it. So if that goes away and they don't get that 30% tax revenue, then they're going to have to figure out how to keep their plan to their plan and change something else. If the calculation needs to meet what their projection is, they're going to have to rob Peter to pay Paul. I mean, it is basic. I mean, business. If you have a bottom line, and then a profit margin, and you want to meet that, and you have things that you have the budget that you have to stick to or whatever, and something gets cut from that, and you have to meet that profit margin to pay your fucking CEOs millions and millions and millions and billions of dollars.
Would be profit if you weren't.
But I agree with what you're saying, Drew. I really do. But I think that, like, in this sense, when they leave Georgia, they'll get more. They'll take money away from their ads or their advertisement budget because they're getting so much PR in the news. Which is
I completely I agree with that. What I'm saying is that is okay. They have to take from one to do the other, and one of the things we could potentially see is a price hike because they have good PR. They did a cool thing. Oh, we're gonna jump you up $1 or $1.50 or whatever, but you're gonna stay with us because we just did this cool thing. Like, I mean, it's perfect. It's something that they could do.
I'm just saying that they're not going to do that.
I think they might.
They're not going to raise their prices for the 30% loss in. They're running a profit.
It really depends on what that 30% loss makes up of their overall net income.
I agree. It's something that we don't see, but I think it's going to be one of those things where it's like they're going to constantly lose. They're going to lose money a little bit. They have to. And when they lose the money, they're going to get to a certain point where they're like, okay, we lost a little more than we're comfortable losing. We're going to have to do something about it. And then when they lose to the point, we're like, okay, let's raise that 50 cents to $1, whatever.
In all honesty, like I said, I mean, I'm sure Netflix has at least a 5 to 10 year plan where they have already had price increases factored into that. And all they're going to say is,
so.
I'm almost positive. I know
for something that comes up randomly like this,
you got that
the price increases.
No, I'm talking about the leaving a state. They
don't have to worry about that. What they're going to do is they're going to literally sit down in a meeting and say, okay, how much is this going to affect our bottom, not even our bottom line.
No, I agree with you.
It's going to affect our profit margin. And if that is a small enough bump in their profit margin, they're going to eat the cost because they know they're going to make it up in 5 years anyways, because they're going to raise the price 4 times in 5 years.
And I agree.
Already scheduled. Like that decision has already been made.
That decision was made before they announced anything. I get that. Yeah. I'm saying there might be a point where that they plan to be here, and when their money gets to a certain point, they're like, okay, we expected this, and then it's going to keep falling. They're like, okay, we padded it. It was plus or minus 3 or something, and they're going to get to a point where like, okay, maybe we should start talking about other possibilities like raising the price, and then when it gets to a point where they're not comfortable with, they will raise the price.
And that could
happen.
That could happen if they see a huge backlash on this, but there's no reason to suspect that they will see a backlash on this.
Well, it's in the general public's favor, obviously. Women, men, everybody's okay with it. But what I'm saying
there's an overwhelming majority. It's not even just a slight majority. There's an overwhelming majority.
And like I said, it comes down.
That'll go away.
That overwhelming majority that supports this decision.
Yeah, because how many people forgot about the rainbow Oreo thing?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
And
no
so
one's
it'll
going
go
to
back
care.
to the norm. So they have to go back to what the norm is. And once they go back to where the norm's at, then they have to survive that initial
Here's the
loss.
scenario that I want to say is what if Netflix doesn't pull out of Georgia? They keep their 30% in there. Are they going to raise prices anyways?
Yes, eventually.
I mean, but do you think they're going to deviate from their plan that they already have in place?
No, because it's not a
Even if
change.
they-
It's not a change in the projections that they currently have.
Correct.
Exactly.
Once they leave Georgia, everything changes.
Everything changes.
But it's not going to change enough where they're going to have to overcorrect.
But you don't know that.
We don't know
don't
that.
know the numbers.
We
don't know.
I do know how much billions of dollars Netflix is worth right now. And I do know how much money Netflix spends on their productions. So I can calculate those numbers and say, even if they have to pay 30% more, how much is that going to eat into their actual profits? Because Netflix is a publicly traded company that does post all of those numbers for us to find.
So let's have the people who are listening to us comment on what they think, could or could not happen with Netflix or any other company.
Josh will do the numbers because he's a fucking psychopath like that. So we'll expect to hear those next week.
I'm just someone who knows how to read a P&L report.
Well, yeah,
So-
but if you know how to read it,
we're running at an hour and a half already, so we have to get to the last.
Good. It's getting really good right now. This is what people want to hear, is us arguing about profits and loss.
I'm on Drew's side. Josh is on his own little thing. So, but I think we got to move on.
I've been on a sinking ship before. I know what it looks like.
Yeah, the buoyancy.
My company got
changes, right?
bought that I used to work for because of what our P&Ls looked like company wide.
We'll find out. We'll find
There's
out.
a reason that GameStop still exists right now.
Josh, you ready for some blind science?
Now I am.
Oh, good.
Those of you listening, I covered my eyes.
Okay, so this one is more of, I don't want to, it is science, but it's more about what you remember / what you can guesstimate.
Okay.
And this is why I couldn't find a good
Back
start
of the
for it. So I
envelope
might have to-
calculations kind of thing.
kind of, a little bit. I'm looking for, I want you to tell me the sizes of the planets in comparable to Earth.
Okay.
So, like, obviously a ratio, like one Earth goes into Earth one
Yeah.
time.
Yep.
Are you looking for volume, or are you looking for
Mass.
mass, or are you looking for like?
Good question. Good question. I'm gonna say diameter only.
Okay, because that's where my mind was going, is diameters. Like,
Yep, you can do diameter. You can do volume.
We're basically calculating volume. I mean, in a sense, diameter is a variable of volume.
Well, I'm looking for volumes.
I mean, I can explain it in diameters, sure. If I can.
I'm going to give you this because I think this is going a little too hard. There's 4 bigger than 1, 4 smaller than 1.
That's not a giveaway. Like, I literally would have known that. So first of all of the gas giants, bigger. All of the rocky planets, smaller. And then are we counting? I mean, at that point in time, that's 8 planets. So
Yeah, you can count Pluto. You don't have to. It's
I wouldn't at that point in time because it's not a planet. Even then, smaller because it's a rocky one. So it's just the gas giants that I'm going to have trouble with, but I can remember this the best. So I would say
you have to get 6 out of the 7 correct.
Yep.
You have
So
to be
Mars is going to be
more or less in 10%.
Yep. Mars is, I'm going to say a 2/3 Earth diameter. Mercury is going to be
Hold on. Let's see. Mars. You think 2/3?
Mars, I know. So Mars's gravity is about 1/3 that of Earth's. So therefore, I can speculate that the mass is one third the size, and then therefore, if the mass and then if average density of the planet is the same, then size changes. So the hard ones should be pretty easy if I can remember my gravity correctly.
Well, let's just start with Mars because I have to go through each one.
Sure.
I don't have the table. Mars, it is 56% the size.
Just width wise, 56.
Diameter wise.
And I said 60.
You said 66.
66. Okay.
And then I said 10%. I'm going to
Okay.
give it to you.
because that's good enough. I'm going to say
Let's go
Mercury
Mercury.
1/8.
You think Mercury? So what is that? 1/8, 1 or 12.5?
Yeah.
12.5. I think you're going to be wrong about this.
I think I might be too. But
Okay, 40%.
really, Mercury's huge.
Yeah, 40%. So you are, and that, remember, this is only diameter, and so that was incorrect.
So, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, they're round planets still. So if I'm just doing percentages of the volume, I should be okay.
Okay, so
Venus,
that would be a squared factor. So you would have a cubed factor.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, shut up.
But I mean, it shouldn't matter anyways when I'm talking about.
Tell me the diameter of Venus.
Venus's diameter. I'm going to say that one is 0.58 between Mercury and Mars.
So 0.58, 0.98. Or
Really?
0.95.
Oh my God, I'm such an idiot. Yeah, Venus weighs way more than Mars. I was an idiot for thinking that. So I'm already less than half.
Yep. I'm going to still give it to you. I'm going to give you Pluto as a bonus. So what do you think Pluto's is?
I'm going to say Pluto's is 1/12. I'm going to go 1/12. Or 1/8. 1/8. Let's do 1/8 again. So 0.12.
Okay, 18%.
18%. So I'm within 10 there.
Yep.
So
that's correct for that. Let's do Jupiter.
Pluto. Earth is 1.
Not giving you, I'm not including that one in there.
Dang it. Oblate spheroid.
What is Jupiter?
Jupiter. God. If I can get the sun, would you count that too as well?
That's on the chart that I have, Dale.
I was going to say, I remember seeing this chart before. I just couldn't tell you how many. I'm going to say 50 Earths in the sun.
You say 50? I'll look that up in a second.
Okay.
So Jupiter.
Jupiter, I'm going to say is...
I knew this one only because I did a thing on it.
God, I want to say it's really big. I want to say like 30.
Ooh. 11.
11?
So it's 11 point. So it's 1100%. So
1100% higher. Okay, that's crazy. God, gas giants are huge. Like that's the only reason I'm trying to think.
Yep. Saturn.
Saturn is going to be, are we talking with rings or just the actual planet?
This chart says without rings.
Yep,
okay.
I agree.
So without rings, it's going to be less than Jupiter. I'm going to say, but slightly less than Jupiter. Let's say, God, I should have just put these planets in mass in my head and put them in order, and then I would have a better way of calculating all these. So let's say, oh man, 8 times
9.46.
So I'm off by a full 100% there. Yeah,
140%.
Man, that's really, once you get like bigger, then it gets really tough.
Yeah.
And then Uranus is going to be 8. Let's just say again, because Uranus should be still smaller than Saturn.
4.
Really?
Yep.
What was I thinking? Oh, Neptune. Fuck, I'm an idiot. Neptune 8.
No.
4 as well?
A little under 4.
Really? Neptune's smaller than
Uranus.
No.
What?
Thank you for saying Uranus. Yeah, that's a tough one.
3.8.
Well, how close was I for the sun when I said 50?
Not
How close? How many is there? 25?
100.
100 diameters in the sun?
I'm pretty sure that that's accurate.
That sounds about right.
Let me see.
You fit the Earth 100 times across the sun.
I thought you can fit 100 Earths in the sun.
Doing the math.
Oh, that was a volume thing, which would be a cube thing, which then would... 50 still wouldn't work. So
109.
109 diameters. That's a good one.
That's the chart I was going off of. Which is
Good.
very close to.
Okay, so I want to say you lost this one.
Definitely. I will
But
concede that.
did you think this was a good question?
I did. This one made me think probably more than any of the 13 we've done before. And it just makes me really wish I paid more attention in astronomy.
Nice.
Because I can put now I don't even think I can put the planets in order of mass anymore.
When we did the volume of what was it? What were we doing? The volume.
The other one that I got wrong of this was literally how circumference of the Earth.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it because my
you were off by a factor of like 2 or something like that.
It was pretty bad.
You doubled it or something. I don't remember.
It was rough. But that's just because I couldn't, I got my original parameter was wrong. And then every time I tried to get the factoring right, it was wrong there too. Gas giants are hard. I wish to be fair, I never took any, to be fair.
You know, you stop before I can harmonize, guys.
Or did you want to harmonize? I don't know.
All right. Start it over.
I mean, to be fair. No, I never took any astronomy classes my entire physics career.
Ooh, I don't think I did either.
Well, that's been the show for you guys. So if you guys want to listen to us argue some more, check our Facebook page out and
check out our after show. Check out Drew and Josh eat chicken and yell at each other.
I should just do like a small video of you guys just eating chicken, like the shawarma scene in the Avengers.
Like
Netflix is gonna suffer.
But real quick, if you guys want to support us in any way, Teespring is the place to be. And links for that is always down in the descriptions.
Teespring is the place to be.
Yep. Yeah. Check out our Hey Everybody t-shirts on teespring.com/Hey Everybody.
Just kidding. I don't have
if you want to wear my face, that'd be great. Somebody said something on Facebook about wearing their face, and I really wanted a picture of me on my t-shirt, but I didn't have one. I can't remember who it was.
I went to a concert wearing this shirt, and I was just like, is it pretentious to wear my own shirt to a concert? To
my own band tee?
Yeah. No, you can do that.
I mean, I think it's more pretentious to wear the band that you're going to see's band tee.
I hate when people do that.
Wait, wear the band you're going to see?
Yeah. People do it all the time at concerts I go to.
Like if
they're going to go see the Maine, they'd wear like the Maine tour t-shirts and stuff like that.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know. Like, buy one while you're there. Like, don't.
I bought. You're going to.
If you do, that's fine. But I mean, wear another shirt. So then you're like, hey, I bought this for, like.
I don't understand that. I don't agree with that at all. We'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
Cool. Which is great. Yeah, because like I'm like, hey, I want to buy a jersey and take it to my favorite sporting event. Like, I'm not going to wear another jersey to a sporting event. I get you there. It's just with concerts. I'm just like, nope, fuck you guys.
Okay.
Next week.
Bye, guys.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Sexy Nerd Science Season 5.
Make sure to like us and subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Don't forget to check out our merch on Teespring and support us on Project Nerd Patreon at patreon.com/projectnerd.